I'm going to reopen the public hearing we're having on House Bill 2571. And for those who are up at the dais, please come forward again. I apologize for needing to do that, but I wanted to get those bills out today since we are not here tomorrow or Monday. And for committee members, I know you have other commitments. If you need to leave, feel free to do so. We'll continue to meet, and if necessary, I'll go into subcommittee mode.
Good afternoon, Chair Przanski, Vice Chair Cruz. For the record, my name is Ellen Miller with CFM Strategic Communications, here representing the Oregon Association of Broadcasters, or the OAB. With me today is Bill Johnstone, the President and CEO of the OAB. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on House Bill 2571A. I will be brief so that Mr. Johnstone can explain the concerns of the OAB, but today the OAB is opposed to the bill as it is currently drafted. The OAB concerns are centered on the access to the footage captured by the police body cameras. This access is limited by the facial blurring requirement and the blanket exemption of all footage to public records disclosure unless proven in the public interest. This bill was intended to increase transparency and accountability of police agencies, and the OAB is concerned that due to the facial blurring requirement and the public records disclosure exemption, the engrossed bill does not meet this intent. We understand the need for this important legislation and the importance of balancing the concerns between privacy and access to the records. We ask for you to consider amending this legislation to increase access to the footage under public records law. Thank you for your time and consideration. I will now turn it over to Mr. Johnson, and I will be available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Przanski and committee members. For the record, I am Bill Johnstone, President and CEO of the Oregon Association of Broadcasters. I'm pleased to be here this morning to talk on behalf of more than 200 radio and television members across the state. Over our years of involvement in public policy at the Capitol, we placed a top priority on public records issues, of which there are many each session, including in this session, House Bill 2571A. We're here today in opposition to the bill as it is drafted. It's not a surprise for you to learn that our tendency to support free and open access to all government records. However, at the same time, we have been more than willing over the years to work with legislative leaders to craft compromises on tough issues such as those contained in House Bill 2571A. In the House, we expressed our concern over a couple of key provisions in the bill, and we told House members that we would take our case to the Senate. Well, here we are this morning. Our concerns rest in two areas. Our first and more important point is we want to raise deals with fairly complicated issue, and that is, of course, the facial blurring requirements. As drafted, the bill requires an agency to edit a video recording in a manner so as to render unidentifiable, before disclosure, all faces of persons in the recording. This facial blurring requirement dramatically reduces the transparency and accountability benefit of the police body cameras. The easiest way to resolve this issue is to remove the blurring issue from the bill. But if you decide to include it, we would suggest requiring custodians of record to make the facial blurring determination as a part of the public interest determination. Second, on a blanket basis, the bill exempts police camera audio and video recordings, whether digital or analog, from public disclosure. This is much too broad, and further, the public interest test can be very expensive and a lengthy process. We believe there are clear cases in the use of police body cameras where the footage should be subject to public disclosure. This would include incidents involving the use of force by law enforcement officers and when each individual who is recorded consents to disclosure. Our specific request is that you consider an amendment to House Bill 2571A that would include these exceptions to the blanket public records exception. I'll stop there, Mr. Chair, but emphasize this final comment, please. The OAB record of dealing with public records issues over the years in this building indicates that while we generally favor public disclosure, we also recognize legitimate issues of privacy. And to that end, we have appreciated working with legislators to find what we can call a smart middle ground. Mr. Chair, If you and your colleagues can see your way clear to set up a work group to deal with such issues as those we have raised this morning, we will commit to our very best effort to find that smart middle ground and do so very quickly. And with that, I end my comments.
Thank you very much. Questions for either individual?
Just a real quick one.
Yes.
Would you rather have the bill as is or no bill at all in a work session? Just curious. In a work group, I meant, not work session.
Yeah.
Chair Przanski, Senator Thatcher, at this time, the OAB does oppose this bill. We do recognize the importance of this legislation, but our position is oppose.